In this lesson, you will learn a vital skill that will drastically improve the quality of your relationship. Whether you have just become serious with a girl, you have gotten engaged, or she's already your wife, you must know how to make her feel heard and understood. Whether she is upset with you out of a misunderstanding, or you have actually done something that grieves her heart, or perhaps there is an external issue outside of your relationship that is affecting her emotional state. As her husband, you must learn how to manage this, diffuse the situation, minimize the problem, open her up emotionally, and keep leading your marriage. Now, do not cherry pick. So let's begin with a Bible verse that encompasses the theme of today's lecture. Colossians 3:19 states, "Husbands, love your wives, be not bitter against them." You can even translate this to modern versions, which the modern English will say, "Husbands, love your wives, do not be harsh with them." A lot of men make the mistake of talking to their wife as if she's one of the guys. She's not one of your mates. She's not an employee or a co-worker or a child. She is your wife. You are lovers first, more than anything. She's the most important person in your life. Treat her with love and kindness. Women are softer. You have to be very mindful of that. So let's begin with the introduction. Where do most men go wrong? Most men have little to no understanding of how to deal with their spouse when she becomes emotional. You see, when a woman respects you, initially she will voice her concerns, right? She'll communicate her unmet needs and attempt to let you know what the problem is without emasculating you. Going back to Proverbs 31:12, a righteous woman, she does good to her husband all the days of her life and no harm. Remember, she's a godly woman. Her intentions are always clean and pure. She's not trying to hurt you. You're a righteous man. You're obviously not trying to hurt her. So you have to talk things through. So a good woman, she will communicate the problem without disrespecting you. So even if you violate one of her boundaries, hurt her with your words or actions, she'll come to you first. Even if something on the outside is happening, she will also come to you because you are her source of strength. Where most men go wrong is they don't understand that these are amazing opportunities to deepen their emotional connection to their spouse and to improve the quality of their relationship. What is the typical response to a woman becoming emotional? What do most men do? They either downplay the woman's feelings, they outright don't listen to her, they just get too tired, they get bitter, forget it, I'm busy, I've had a hard day, I don't want to hear you whining and complaining, or they become selfish and make the whole thing about themselves. One of the worst things you can do is when she's emotional, is you become reactive and emotional too. And when you're both emotional, it will spiral out of control and you can do serious damage to your relationship. However, you can turn things around. So the mistakes that men make is due to a lack of self-control, they'll become harsh, right? Bitter towards the woman. Raising their tone of voice, they start complaining. They might even insult her or attack her with nasty words because their ego's hurt and they're fragile and they're childlike. Or they just shut down emotionally. A lot of men have not been taught how to properly communicate and explain things through calmly to a woman or to share their emotions. Most men bottle it all inside and don't say a word. So when they see their woman getting emotional, they just don't know how to handle it. So they walk away from the situation or they simply avoid talking about the problem. What happens when you shut down emotionally as the man is, she can't come to you for that guidance anymore. Remember, she looks up to you. She wants to admire and respect you. You are her man. You are the leader, the husband. If she's trying to speak to you about a problem and you just neglect it, don't want to talk about it, pretend it didn't happen, you're sweeping it under the rug. It's going to build up resentment in her heart because she doesn't know what to do anymore with you. And you are going to stop leading her because you know that you obviously neglected her or didn't talk about the issue, but because you swept it under the rug, it'll come back on you sooner or later. So now you're both disconnected emotionally. Any problems you have emotionally, you want to get that sorted out because this is not how you lead a marriage. So these are the common things, the typical reactions that men do and get wrong when their woman is emotional. Please do not do anything here to hurt your woman in that way. And if you are someone who walks away from the situation or always talking about the issue, this lesson is going to fill in your knowledge gap so that you can never make that mistake again. The second keynote here is she needs to feel heard and understood. At some point, you've heard a woman mention any of the following phrases. You never listen to me. Are you listening to me? I feel like you don't pay attention to me. You always do this. You don't care about me. Why are you ignoring Why are you ignoring me? It's like you don't understand me. And I could go on with another 500 of these. But these are some of the things that we've all heard. Whether it was growing up, you saw that happen with your mother and father, uncle, auntie, grandparents. You go to your friend's house as a kid, you hear the parents talk about it. You see it on movies, you see it on TVs, or you've seen it in your own relationships or the relationships of those close to you. This is a common theme, and there is a reason for it. This is what happens when a woman feels like the man does not understand her. Most men think they are listening, but they are not. You might have even noticed that when things are going good in your relationship, she shares all the little details about her day, voices her concerns, and then suddenly, one day, you realize it's been many, many months and she stopped doing those little things. That's a warning sign that she's emotionally closed off. She doesn't feel safe enough to come and talk to you about her problems anymore because you either blow up and get emotional, you don't understand her, which translates to less intimacy, not trusting in your leadership. You don't feel like the man anymore because she's not submitting to you. This is a problem. But there's a way to turn this around. But understand, you need to know how to make her feel understood by you. Because this comes about because of two sorts of problems, external and internal. If there are problems inside your relationship, you cross a boundary multiple times. You don't keep your word multiple times. You neglect her not once but multiple times. You stop courting her. You don't date your woman anymore. You don't create fun opportunities to spend quality time with her. She can see you're taking her for granted. Maybe you violate her integrity by being really harsh or mean to her. You keep having misunderstandings, or there is just another unmet need that hasn't been communicated about. These things can make her give you one of those following statements. You never listen to me. And of course, there can be problems outside of your relationship that have nothing to do with you and her, but you're still her man. She still wants to come to you and share the concerns she's facing. Whether it's issues related to things from her past. I'm not talking about other men. I'm talking about maybe a childhood, family friend from a young age, something that happened that she just wants to share. Maybe a concern about the future, how you're going to both have children, organizing something that you keep neglecting, right? But that she always mentions. Something related to extended family, her parents, grandparents, cousins, siblings, you name it. Friends, drama going on with that, health problems, things related to work, etc. Women come to you when they love you and trust you to vent and share what's going on in their life. When she does not feel safe and comfortable to do that anymore, that is also a problem. especially when you neglect it. Now, you're going to see how external and internal problems, if you do not know how to handle them properly, can get worse. Before we get into that, we'll continue on with this. When a woman is in love, she wants your presence all the time. What women want is to feel heard and understood. She wants more than to be listened to. She wants you to be present with her. And I'm going to keep repeating that 1,000,000 times so it sticks. This means you are completely focused on her. No distractions. Women are soft and sensitive by nature, so they feel everything you say and do deeply. When you get upset, when you sigh, when you get mad, or when you're happy and joyful. So when she does not feel heard and understood by you, she won't feel respected or honored. And she'll think that you don't care about her. Even if that's not your intention, that's how she feels. The reason why she gets upset, withdraws, cries, and mentions any of the phrases or statements that I wrote above, it's because you have not taken the time to truly understand her. Frustration and hurt are caused when she feels like you are not responding to her needs and concerns. This is where you get into a verbal game of ping pong, going back and forth, where you're confused, scratching your head, wondering what's going on, and she's upset with you because you're not listening to her. This creates fighting, arguing, and drama, resulting in a drop of emotional attraction and a loss of intimacy on both sides, not just her, but for you as well. Remember, femininity grows with praise and affection and is diminished when you make her feel unattractive, unimportant, or neglected. What you put in is what you get out. At the core, what is going on is that your lack of enthusiasm to show love and affection towards her makes her feel unwanted, unattractive, and undesired by you, which deeply hurts her, because all she's looking for is to feel loved by you. Remember, men who understand women do not argue with women. Instead, they communicate effectively and avoid being harsh with them. And once you know how to make her feel heard and understood, you can diffuse any argument, resulting in her being more open and loving towards you. And this will give you peace of mind because it's a skill. As you're going to see, we go through this lesson, you're just going to get better at it from practice, from repetition. Okay, so the third keynote, which is the main theme of this lesson, how do you make her feel heard and understood? So I'm going to give you two examples. Handling a problem from outside of your relationship, and then handling a problem from inside of the relationship, and then what is the solution? What is the metric that you're looking for here? So starting with from the outside in, how do you make her feel that you get her, that you understand her when there's a problem that has nothing to do with you? So let's say there's an issue related to a family friend, right? And this is something that you will start to notice as you master relationships and get a good woman, because it is so rare, and nowadays, due to the fact that most people settle, you and your woman are going to become very observant of the people around you and the state of their relationships, because you understand relationships so well. And she's going to start telling you at some point, oh, so-and-so's with this guy for many years, they settle for each other, they're not together anymore, da-da-da-da-da. You might notice it with your friends. They've been together for many years, not engaged, not married, or maybe they are, but they're just miserable. So, going back to this question, there may come a time when your girlfriend or wife comes home, in this example, and tells you about the conversation she just had with one of her friends, for example. She comes to you and says, I'm really worried about my friend Jessica because she told me that her boyfriend does not seem serious about marriage, but she's been with him for years, and recently she brought it up to him again, and he became very angry towards her. He started shouting and told her that it's not important to her, and I feel so bad for her. right? Not important to him. Now, if you're sitting there as a man and your woman comes home and shares a detail like that about something going on in one of her friends' life, most men go into problem solving, I need to fix it mode. You don't. You just need to listen to her. What is worse is when your woman comes to you and she's venting about something that's happened, most guys dismiss it. And when you allow yourself to think that these things don't matter, she's going to stop sharing problems that she has with you to you. Because now she doesn't feel safe to do so. Because you brush these things off. You have to get the little things right. Every small interaction you have with your woman counts. It all adds up to the relationship, to the marriage. You don't go with the flow, you lead with intention. Use these moments to connect with her. That's why she's coming to you. So again, you're sitting there and your woman comes home and tells you this about one of her girlfriends. Obviously, it looks like they settled. She's been with this guy for all these years. And, she brought it up again and he's getting angry. Okay. Where do most men go wrong here? They'll tell their spouse or girlfriend that this doesn't matter. Just don't worry about it. It has nothing to do with us. I don't want to talk about this nonsense. You're distracting me. I'm playing a game of Call of Duty. You're in my way. I'm watching football. I'm watching the game. I'm busy working. I'm tired. I've had a long day. That's their problem. I don't want to hear about it. This is none of our business. But what you're failing to understand is this is a heavy emotional topic about something that does affect her because it's a friend. She cares about her friend's well-being. When you do this, and you get, on top of that, you get distracted, you're on your phone, the TV, or you're just focused on another stimulant in the environment, she's going to realize that you simply do not care about what she has to say. She might get angry at first. Hey, what's going on? Why is this not important to you? But if you do not do anything to turn this around, eventually she's going to shut down and stop sharing any concerns or doubts she has over time. This is where guys wake up 5 years into their marriage and realize, my wife doesn't want to be intimate with me anymore. She doesn't really talk to me as much as she used to. You'll start hearing about things happening with friends and family, all these things going on, but you won't hear it from your wife anymore. Because she doesn't want to share it with you. Because you're a problem. Because you don't care. You're supposed to be her rock, her mountain. You're supposed to be the man she wants to come home to and share everything with because you make her feel safe. A lot of guys fail to understand how important that is. Really listen to her. The better she feels around you, the more safe, the more comfortable she feels, the more she knows that you actually listen and that you care and that you retain the information. She will come to you first and only to you, which is what you want. It's important to understand that women work through their problems by talking about them. This is why she comes to you, especially in an example like this, with a recent issue about her friend, because she trusts you. She just wants to share it with you because you offer her leadership. You keep her grounded with your logic, and your strength makes her feel safe in your presence. Providing you actually listen. If you stop listening and showing that you care, hey, she's going to trust less in your decisions. She's not going to share things with you. She's going to start withholding. She's going to stop giving love because you shut her down. Ask yourself, if she does not feel comfortable to share problems that are external to your relationship, how could she possibly feel safe to communicate about problems that arise within your relationship? And this is where you start to see a shift. At first, she'll stop talking about things happening in her life. And now, slowly over time, you're obviously going to make mistakes as a man, especially if you didn't know this up until now. What's going to happen is she'll stop telling you the things that bother her that you could fix, change, or improve. She'll shut down. Intimacy in your relationship will go to zero because of you. So, when it comes to external problems like her coming to you and telling you about what happened with her girlfriend, how do you fix this? When she communicates a problem that has nothing to do with the two of you. Simple. You remain calm and collected. You sit back and you listen. She needs to know that it is safe to engage with you in conversation and offload all of that drama, all of the emotions, by talking, crying, ranting, laughing, whatever. She wants to sit down with you, get some chocolates, have some food and just tell you about it. Let her do it. Listen. Most guys, when they reconnect with their wife or their girlfriend, they're so quick to just want to be intimate and be close. Wait. If she has something she needs to share, let her get it off her chest first. You can't rush through that. If you care about her, remain present and listen. She needs to know that you're going to let her just talk about it without you dismissing her emotions, without invalidating it. Oh, it doesn't matter. I don't want to hear about this anymore. I'm tired. I'm hungry. I don't want to. No. Let her get it out of the system. What you want to do in a situation like this is say something like, it's terrible to hear what Jessica, inserting a random name, it's terrible to hear what Jessica's going through. Would you like me to continue listening to what happened, or do you want my opinion/advice? When you do not have a problem with your woman and she's telling you about something that happened, family, friends, drama, something going on, always use that formula. Do you want me to listen, or would you like my advice? If she's worried, she's stressed about something. Because sometimes all she wants to do is just talk it through and she'll be fine. And you giving your unsolicited advice, you put your foot in your mouth, you make it worse. Or you try and manhandle the situation, but you don't know all the details. It's unwise to do that, and it causes more issues. Keep it like that. Because she could turn around and say to you, I just want you to listen. Let me tell you what happened. Great. Maybe 5 minutes into the talk, she says, actually, what are your thoughts? What should I tell her? What do you think I should do? Then you give your advice. Okay, stop trying to go in and fix the problem and it's nothing to do with you. Let her talk it through. So give her the chance to let those emotions evaporate just by talking about it. So in one instance, she might tell you that she wants you to listen. So just listen, and as she talks, the key here is you repeat bits back and forth about what she's saying. For example, wow, tell me more about that. Is Jessica going to walk away? You can ask questions. How long did she say this has been going on for? Oh wow, so she told you this earlier today when you had coffee? Interesting. What else happened? Maybe she tells you a specific detail and you go, oh really? Oh my goodness, that's terrible. So you're bouncing back and forth, but you're engaging in conversation without taking over. You're letting her get it all out. This way, by repeating bits of what she's saying back and forth, plus asking questions, you're showing that you're truly present with her and that you're actually listening. Because if you sit there and go, and you're staring at your wife's breasts, or you're thinking about being intimate with her later, and she says, yeah, so what do you think about that? And you go, you were distracted. Or you're thinking about something else. Then she knows you didn't listen. Now she's going to get upset at you, even though there was no problem with you. But because she was talking about something that had an emotional impact on her, and you didn't care enough to listen to her, well, how is it going to make her feel that you just don't care about her? Because if you cared, you'd listen. Common sense. So again, you need to train yourself that when your woman comes to you with an external problem, you engage back and forth. Repeat those bits and back. Ask those questions till she gets it all out. Okay? Now, in another situation, she might tell you, I want your advice. I need your opinion. What do you think about it? Now, obviously in this example where she comes to you about the friend who settled for the boyfriend and they've been together for years. For example, I would say in this situation, what I've written here, I think that Jessica has been with this man for 4 years. He has not even proposed to her. I think he's not serious about marrying her. She should move on, heal, and find a godly man who is serious about spending his life with her. Makes it very simple. It's righteous judgment. You know, it doesn't take 4 years to know if you're going to marry someone. You're wasting each other's time. She might reply, that's a good point. I agree. Yeah, I will see Jessica next week and I'll tell her about this. Thank you. I was thinking that too. She could even say something like that and you keep flowing with the conversation and she might continue talking about it for a little longer. But in the end, she will show appreciation for you remaining present and listening to her. So this way, she knows anytime she faces a problem in the future, family, friends, a health problem, a bad dream she had, anything, and she just wants to let it out emotionally, she goes to you. Not to her girlfriends, not to strangers, she comes to you. You are her man. That's a sign that she respects you. Before anyone else, or sometimes not even anyone else, she wants to come to you and most likely you alone. For advice, for guidance, because you calm her down. You bring her peace. You get her out of her emotions and bring her back into a logical understanding of things. If a woman knows that you're emotional and insecure and you're effeminate, she's not going to come to you and share details of what's going on because you're going to get emotional as well. You're going to get fearful or erratic or react to it in a negative way. But when you're just calm and you let us talk, again, use that simple formula. Do you want me to listen or do you want my advice? It makes things so simple. Now, how do you make her feel heard and understood when you're facing problems inside your relationship? This is when you get the serious stuff. I'll give you an example. Let's say you're just sitting there reading a book and you neglect your woman. We go back to problems inside of your relationship, neglecting her. It can cause this, right? So what happens here is you're sitting there minding your business, reading a book. Your girlfriend or wife walks in and tells you, look at this dress I just bought. What do you think? If you turn around and tell her, yeah, it looks nice, but you're not even really paying attention, you just go back to doing your thing, you're invalidating her feelings. What you are communicating to her is that what you're doing is more important than her. Not that you're saying this, but this is how it feels. To her, it's basically saying, you're not beautiful and you don't matter to me. That's exactly how she's feeling. This is when your woman gets mad or upset and says, you're not paying attention to me. Are you listening to me? Did you not hear what I just said? Okay, fine. I guess I'll just talk to the brick wall, and she'll walk out the room. She'll get upset. You cannot take your woman for granted. This is what guys do when they settle. Pretty sure if you go back to the beginning of your relationship, the first couple of months, when she showed up on those dates, she shows up in a nice dress or dressed beautiful, you pay attention to it, right? I don't care if it's 6 months or 6 years later, 16 or 20, 36 years later. When your wife comes through with a beautiful dress or she wants to share something with you, you stop what you're doing and you pay attention. If you are the same man she met at day one, you're going to make that same effort. Today, back in the past, and in the future, because that's who you are. Engage with her, be present with her. When she's in love with you, she wants your presence all the time. This is why your woman gets close to you. She touches your arm. She dresses in a feminine manner. She cares about her appearance. If she knows that you prefer her wearing a certain color or a certain style, she'll do that to want to look good for you. Everything your woman does when her interest level is high, emotionally speaking, is to show you how much she loves you. She dedicates her life to you the same way you should dedicate yours to her. Remember, femininity is all about opening up, bonding, receiving your love and your presence. She just wants you to desire her. So the reason she feels so hurt is because she wants to feel your love. Instead, she's left feeling like you don't appreciate her. Therefore, listening to what you are saying requires you to be fully present with her. You can put the book down. You can put your finger in the bookmark. Unless you're doing something that is, you're working, or maybe you're carrying something heavy and obviously it's your wrong place, wrong time, that's different. But if you're sitting there in a calm, relaxed environment reading a book, she walks through with a nice dress on to impress you, and yeah, it looks good, honey, and like in the movies, the guy sits there with a newspaper in his face and the wife talks to him or shows him something. Yeah, honey, it looks good. And she rolls her eyes and walks out the room because the guy neglected it. That's what's happening here. So put it down, listen to her. Don't take her for granted. You must show a willingness to listen with your heart, to understand her. She wants to be penetrated by your presence, and that's all it is. So what's going to happen now is she's upset with you. You have to open her back up emotionally, or else that's going to fester into more problems. Remember, righteous women test you to determine strength or weakness. And if she senses that you don't care, it was wrong what you did to her, she's going to put up those emotional walls. Because she's going to feel like, I can't trust him when he's doing that, at least in that moment. So you can expect her to pull away from you physically, maybe tell you to go away, leave me alone, I don't want to talk to you right now, or I'm fine, it's not a big deal. But she's obviously not going to feel safe to show you that dress again. Why is she doing this? She's pushing you away to protect her heart from feeling any more pain. But you as a man cannot let this knock you off balance. Once you realize that, oh goodness, I neglected her, you don't want to sit there and argue with her. What's wrong? Why are you upset? I don't understand why you're so mad at me. I was reading my book and you interrupted me. I didn't ask to see your dress. When you start doing stuff like that, which is what guys do when they get emotional, and you start getting angry and blaming her for being emotional, you're not only invalidating her emotions, but you're letting her know that you don't understand her, which is going to make her shut down even more. It's going to be harder for her to open herself back up to you, and you're both left feeling miserable. It can lead to more arguments, more confusion, and it just gets worse. What's the cure here? How do you make her feel heard and understood when there's a problem between the two of you? Simple. You do not let her walk away. You have to penetrate her with your presence. She doesn't want you to walk away. She wants to feel your love. When people are hurt, that's what they need more than anything. When your woman loves you, even though she's upset, underneath it all, that's what she's craving. You walk up to her and you make appropriate eye contact. You pull her in and you tell her, I admit I wasn't present with you, something like that, as I've written here. I was focused on reading my book. I know that all you wanted to do was feel my love, and I'm sorry for not showing you that. Now, even though you're giving a genuine apology, it doesn't matter because she's still upset. Now, you have to understand the way men and women are different in our communication. If you come up to me and say, Christian, you're a retard. Now, emotionally that hurts. Why do you think I'm a retard? But logically, I can separate my emotion for the time being and ask you logically there and then, Oi, why do you think I'm a retard? What's going on? Deal with the emotions later. With women, if you said to a woman, hey, that's very retarded of you, even though you might be in the right to say that, well, logically she might know that, but it impacts her emotionally more first. In that moment, she's hurt and upset. Only later, when she calms down, will she realize, maybe my behavior was retarded. Still, you should never say that to a woman. Remember, do not be bitter to them. Love them. Love your wives. Be soft with them. Be kind with them. So, even in the context of your woman coming in to show you her dress, her hair, her nails, something that means a lot to her, and you're like, it's whatever, I'm busy, I'm playing my video game, I'm watching football and eating pizza, and you turn from her, she's feeling neglect emotionally, even though logically you don't mean that because you're a guy, but that's how she feels. So when you come up to her again and you tell her, listen, honey, I'm sorry for neglecting you, that was wrong of me. I was distracted with my book. I know you just wanted me to show you, you wanted to show me your beautiful dress. It looks wonderful. She's still going to be closed off initially. She might still keep her arms closed, but there's a little bit of willingness there. She might tell you, yes, I was really upset with you. She might open up a bit more and say, okay, do you actually like the dress, or are you just saying that? So in those moments when you're with her in person and it's something that she was showing you that's physical, you can touch it because it's a tangible object that you can interact with. You can tell her, yeah, it looks stunning, because she's looking for reassurance. And as she's warming back up to you, because now you're starting to take notice of her emotions. So you can reply with, yes, you look stunning, it looks amazing, dress makes you look very feminine, your figure looks wonderful, you look really sexy in that. You can go up to her and touch the dress. You know, you can play with the material or spin her around, put your hand on her waist, for example, get a good look at her. So through that physical touch, you penetrate her, you show her that you're focused on her by your actions. That's going to make her feel better. And another thing I want to intercede on here is, usually when a woman is upset with something that you've done, she'll bring up something from the past that you've already done in another context, or that made her feel bad. And most guys scratch their heads and go, why would she bring that up? It's not that she's bringing up the past. She's simply using a relational example of something that hurt her in the past to show you how hurt she is now. For example, as you're saying all of this to her, she might tell you, 2 months ago, I did something similar. I showed you my new nails, and when I showed you them, you didn't say anything. Please don't do that again. And you're sitting there going, why is she bringing this up? We sorted this out. No, she's trying to get you to understand by an example to illustrate her emotions. That 2 months ago when you did the same thing, right? She showed you her nails and you neglected it, it hurt. Today, when she showed you her beautiful dress and you were like, yeah, I'm reading my book, it's whatever, it looks good, but you weren't paying attention, it hurt her the same way. That's all it is. She's not digging up the past or causing drama. She's communicating the way you made her feel when you ignored her. That makes her feel the same way now. So in those moments, you continue on the conversation with her. You say, I understand. I can see how what I did back then hurt you the same way now. Thank you for making me understand that. And then you can use a pattern interrupt. Because now that she's warming up to you, again, men lead, women follow. You control the tempo and the flow. So do something outlandish. You grab her waist, blow a raspberry on her stomach, tickle her, make a funny face, make an inside joke, tease her playfully. Obviously, you want to use this cautiously. This doesn't mean you sit there like a clown and go all out. No. The goal here is to make her feel joy and laughter again. Remember, the previous lesson, couples who play together stay together. You've got to constantly have fun. You've got to bring it back to that joyous state again. That even though she's upset, she wants to see that you're not bothered by that. That you're still this happy, go, masculine guy. Because remember, women react to how you make them feel. You made her feel bad, now you have to make her feel good. So you only want to be playful as she begins to talk a little bit more and loosen up. And this is drastically going to improve it. I've used this personally the times that it has happened, even in previous relationships. And I've recommended it to clients over the years. And it is a wonderful thing you can implement when your woman is upset with you. Because she just wants to have fun with you. And ultimately, she wants to feel your love. And when she sees that you're calm, you're collected, you're happy, and you're this joy to be around, it's very difficult to stay angry and upset with you when you're smiling, when you're laughing, right? obviously in this context, if you have her, you do need to take her serious, but be playful a little bit. Like 80% serious, 20% playful. And you slowly increase the meter of the playfulness as she feels more comfortable, right? So again, you go back to it and you get her to talk and open up even more. You can say, well, how did it make you feel when I didn't pay attention to your dress? And now that she's already spoken a little bit, she's obviously going to be more comfortable to tell you more. So she will talk about how ugly you made her feel, that she thought in that moment you didn't love her, she didn't understand why you were neglecting her. She'll rant a little bit more. You repeat those bits and back as you do previously. You ask more questions. You affirm to her that you understand. And this shows that you comprehend her. So you can tell her, for example, so when I turned my back to continue reading my book instead of looking at you, that made you feel like I wasn't attracted to you? She might even say, yeah, I felt hurt, or yeah, I felt unimportant in that moment, or I wanted to look pretty for you and you made me feel like you didn't care. As I've written here, that's more or less what you're going to hear her say. So all you have to do is let her talk, repeat bits back of what she's saying, let her keep pouring her heart out until she feels better. And that's the end of it. And regardless of whether this is an external problem that you neglected or pushed to the side, refused to talk about, or if this is an internal problem in the relationship that we've just covered in this example, regardless, how can you know for sure that you have opened her back up emotionally? Very simple. 2 metrics to look for. You must receive physical and verbal confirmation of her feeling better. Regarding verbal confirmation, to know when she is 100% open to you again, she will either tell you something along the lines of, you're amazing, like she's basically giving you a compliment that she feels good again towards you. You're so amazing. I'm sorry for getting emotional. I was just so upset, worried. I'm so glad we spoke about this. I feel better now. Thank you so much for listening. You're an amazing listener. I'm happy to know that you care again. I feel good now. I'm glad we had this talk. She might even cry, let some tears out, smile again. And obviously you're going to get the old famous, I love you. When she's giving you words, verbal confirmation and expression like this, anything, pick and mix of the examples that I've written here, that is a good sign that she now feels heard and understood by you again. And this should be accompanied by a physical confirmation of her feeling good, which is desire for intimacy, which confirms that her emotional attraction has increased because now she feels safe with you again. And you should witness any of the following behaviors. She might give you a kiss, peck on the cheek, on the lips, give you a physical embrace, a hug, jump into your lap, cry in your arms, hug you, give you little kiss attacks, be playful with you again physically. And of course, for those who are married, this is when you should see her desire for sex come back up. As the old famous saying goes, make-up sex, right? Why is this so important to understand? As I mentioned earlier at the beginning of the lesson, when you learn how to communicate with her effectively, not only do you diffuse these situations and minimize the problem, but you could actually make your relationship even better, because now she knows when there's a problem outside in the world or between you and her, she can come to you. She goes to her husband, she goes to her man, and you make her feel good, you make her feel safe. She's going to trust more in your decisions now, more in your leadership, because you have this unwavering confidence. It's genuine, it's real, it's raw, you're honest. And because you always turn things around and make her feel good once more, and you lead her, she'll go right back to being sweet, submissive, feminine, and ladylike around you. So she's going to want you again. It's that simple. So, unless you get a reply where she's verbally and physically confirmed that she feels heard and understood, you have to keep asking her questions about how she feels, until she opens up fully. Once she's 100% open again, you're going to see that she goes back to being feminine because you took the time to be present with her. When your girlfriend or wife knows that you not only listen to her words, but that you understand how she feels. Okay? Not only that you listen to her to how she feels, to her words, but you understand how she feels, this is when her emotional intensity will shift. Because that's when she realizes, oh, I can rely on him. I can trust in him no matter what happens. Her respect and emotional attraction will increase. She can be honest and vulnerable around you because you have shown that you now understand her emotions without becoming defensive, aggressive, or walking away. You don't want to be that guy who's a cold fish, throws in the towel, gets upset. Oh, she's mad at me, I'll be mad too. You're not getting defensive or aggressive. You're calm. You talk things through. You open her up emotionally by asking questions, repeating bits back and forth. You're a little bit playful. You'll sort it. And once she feels heard and understood, she'll calm down. Moving forward, she will realize that whenever she's hurt or upset with you or by something else, she can come to you to feel reassured and loved by you. So, how long does it take to open her back up emotionally? This depends on the severity of what happened. It can take a few minutes or even a couple of hours, maybe even more, to open her up. Don't let that bring you down. Obviously, it depends on the situation, what happened, and how good you are at communicating with her. But it's a skill set. And the more you put this into practice and talk things through, the easier and the quicker you diffuse situations that otherwise could have gone south. Remain present and centered until she yields to your dominance and opens her heart back up to you. Sit down with her and open her up when you've done something to hurt her, when she needs reassurance or she's dealing with something external. Get her to talk to you. Remember, you're a husband. You're the man. You're the one she loves. You're her knight in shining armor. You have to remain that guy consistently. And when she feels that and knows that, half the time she won't even be upset about things. She'll just tell you, oh, I get where you're coming from, because she trusts you so much. And it's just makes the relationship much better. So in conclusion, be her rock and a source of strength always. Never forget that your lady is an emotional being. She's deeply affected by your words and actions. Everything you say and do has an impact on her emotions. Even her body, right, is designed to be penetrated by you. However, she needs to feel your presence on a mental and emotional level before she feels ready to open up and receive you physically. Because look at us men with our physiology. We are designed to penetrate. We impact. Not just the woman physically, but the world around us. With our work that we do, our career, our business. Men, we are the builders. We are the foundation of society. Women are not like that. They are penetrated by everything that happens. Their emotions impact them and penetrate them. And women open themselves up to be penetrated by the man they love. So it's that difference, that the opposite, the masculine and the feminine, that complement. That's how God made it to be. So a lot of guys, a lot of husbands are so worried about opening up their woman and just rushing the process because they want the physical intimacy. You cannot have the physical intimacy without the emotional intimacy first. Remember, when she feels heard and understood, the legs open. When she doesn't, the legs close. You have to open her up in her mind and her heart first before she feels safe enough to give you a body, even if she's your wife. Even if you've been together for 10 years. Because now she cares about you more. So, be present with her no matter what. She'll give you the keys to her heart that will be accessible to you and to you alone. This is all you need to do to make your woman feel heard and understood. You can play this back as many times as you need, take notes, study it and apply it. Whether you just started out, you're engaged or you're married. And even in preparation for that, do not take this lesson for granted, because this is something that you will need to apply at some point in your relationship and marriage.